like your guys performed?
Yeah, first game, kind of like Coach was just talking about previously, you learn a lot about yourself in week one, and I think we learned a lot about ourselves. There's some really good things on film. I thought we made some plays in some special teams areas that were really smart, headsy plays that gave us some opportunities. I thought we did some good things holistically. I think we've got to learn to be how to win, right? We took a 4-point lead going into the fourth quarter against the number 9 team in the country at their place on the road. That's tough, right? And we've got to learn how to be able to finish right there in those situations and be able to play with the lead. There were opportunities in the second quarter to be able to get to a 14-point lead that we kicked a field goal. That's tough against a team like this. And then we gave up too many explosive plays throughout the course of the game right there to not make them earn it in those spots. And ultimately, when you play really, really good teams like Rhode Island, it's going to come down to 5 or 6 plays. And we felt like that's exactly what happened.
Is that just part of as you build this program at Campbell? Is that just part of the learning process of one, you got yourself in position, right, to
Right.
win this game, but now you've got to take that next step and try to figure out how to finish them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what the CAA is, right? Like the
Mhm.
difference in the top, and the bottoms or the middles, however you want to say it, there ain't a whole big difference, right? The margin of error is really, really small in this league, and that's the exciting part of it. But the difference is, Rhode Island was down, 10 points, and they stayed right where they're at. They knew who they were, and then they made us make some mistakes, and they capitalized them. We've got to be able to maximize when we get opportunities to capitalize on people. We've got to be able to take advantage of those things, and we can't give them things, right? We gave up 5 explosive plays. That's way too many. Quarterback, man, he's as good as advertised, right? We saw him last year in playing him, and I think he's better than he was last year in that spot. And ultimately, those guys made plays down the stretch, and we didn't. And we got to be able to look at what we're doing to be able to evaluate how do we make those plays? How do we create explosive plays for our offense? How do we limit explosive plays for theirs?
Let's talk about that offense a little bit. And I thought you guys were super creative. You played 2 quarterbacks with Camden Six Killer and Mike Chandler and used Mike all over the place. Just talk about how you felt like those guys worked together offensively and if you accomplished what you were trying to do as far as, keep using their skill sets and keeping the defense off balance.
Yeah, Mike's just a dynamic guy that can do a lot of different things for our football team. We're fortunate to have him. We've got to continue to find ways to get Mike the ball. I think he ended up with 8 touches in the ball game. We've got to continue to extend that and get him more touches as the game goes along. But what we did learn is Mike Chandler's a guy that has influence. I mean, you looked at when we moved him in motion and stuff like that. They would take 3 over 2 every time. They weren't going to play Mike man to man. And so we got to be smart on how do we adjust our game and how do we use our pieces to not just get them the ball, but to influence the ball game, right? And see their impact on the ball game in that spot. I thought we did some really good things. I think we got to be able to be more consistent. I think there were some balls that we should have thrown and caught a little bit better. In some instances that I thought we had good situations. I think you can see the playmakers that we had. I thought we ran the ball pretty efficiently as a whole, and that was exciting to be able to see. But we've got to continue to progress. We had a 16-play, 90-yard drive that went over 8 minutes and 30 seconds. That hadn't been done around here in a long, long time, right? And so that is good offensive football right there. And that goes toe to toe with any drive that you saw throughout the course of the whole weekend at any level in that spot. And what I think it showed our guys is we don't just have to be explosive to score points. We can be able to grind it out and go be physical and move the chains and get first down after first down, which I think was a really exciting point to be able to see. If you take us back to last year, those drives just weren't present in our offense, and being able to add that to the repertoire, I think that's really exciting. I think it's really encouraging for our kids to be able to see because we've worked really hard. Rob is coming. We got to be a hard-nosed, physical football team, and I think that was fun for our kids to be able to see. It was fun for me to see. Anytime you hold on to the ball for 8 minutes and 30 seconds, that means they're not scoring points.
What did you like about Camden and what does he bring to the table offensively that's a little different than what Mike does?
Yeah, I thought what Mike did a good job is he's just he can do it all, right? He can be able to get him in that back there in the shotgun and let him be a true quarterback. He can be more of a wildcat quarterback. He can be more of a slot. He can be a running back. He can do all those things. Anytime you have somebody that's dynamic, that's exciting to be able to use. I thought Cam did a good job of making some plays. There are some plays that the ball wasn't there and he extended drives. We got an explosive pass out of him and Randall from scrambling, and they kept playing football. I think Cam's going to continue to develop and get better and be able to deliver and distribute the football. And Mike's going to be right in that mix. And so we're really excited about what both of those guys bring. And you get them both on the football field. There's two guys that you got to defend, plus a Randall King, that really is tough to be able to match up against.
Let's talk a little bit about your defense. I know you've spoken about the disappointment on some explosive plays that they were able to make in the passing game, but running the ball, they only had 109 yards.
Yep.
Veteran offensive line and one heck of a big tailback back there that kept coming at you. How did you feel like you held up on that part of the game?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Anytime you hold a Rhode Island football team to 109 yards, I mean, we're really pleased with that aspect of it. I would argue, Rob, that's the most veteran, experienced offensive line in the country. I mean, they brought 4 out of 5 starters back from last year's team that played, quarterfinal football, won the CAA. And then added to their backfield with a transfer running back, and being able to be physical. The most I was pleased to see on the defensive line, we got across the line of scrimmage and we crossed penetration. We made plays in their backfield, and that was exciting for us to be able to go see. I thought overall we tackled pretty well. That's always a concern going into week 1. How well are you going to tackle? And so that was really exciting to be able to see those aspects. That was something we didn't do very good last year. If you look at who we were last year, stopping the run was something that we went to build this defense with, is that we had to be able to stop the run. Now, there's plenty that we can get better in that spot, but there's a lot to be encouraged with that front, those linebackers, and how we fit the run. That's for sure.
Doesn't get much easier for your team this Saturday as you head on the road to face an East Carolina team that went toe-to-toe with NC State last week, and you're headed to their place. Just talk about that environment and the challenges that team presents.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're pretty obvious what the challenges they present, right? I mean, they go toe to toe last week with the ACC schools, whom we have on our schedule in a couple weeks as well. And so watching that game, you're kind of watching that game, and you kind of get lost to who am I watching? Which one should I be watching in this spot? But ECU is a really well coached football team. Coach Harold does a really good job. You turn on the film, man, those guys play fast. I mean, you just look at the velocity and the speed in which offensively and defensively they attack. That's going to be a big deal. I think it's a perfect game for us coming off this week, because you look at the things that we made mistakes on. It was technique. It was us not doing the right things, and that's why. And when you play good football teams, when you play with bad technique, they take advantage of it. Well, Rhode Island did that this past week, and then you turn on the film this week, and it's going to be exponentially more. And so I think it's great for our guys because it makes them lock in and focus on the details in practice of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because they understand what they're getting on Saturday. But our guys are excited. They're going to be excited to go play. Like I said, at Campbell, we're not running from anybody. We're going to go play the best in the country, and that's what it's been since I've been here. And we're not apologizing. We're not asking for forgiveness for that. We're not asking for grace in that. We're just going to continue to get better in that opportunity, and we think that's going to make us better as we continue to push forward and grow as a program.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how much, especially for your in-state kids, how much are they looking forward to that environment and testing themselves against East Carolina?
Absolutely. I don't know any kid that doesn't walk into that environment and go, this is fun, right? This is what you want to play football in, and they get the opportunity to be able to do it. The game has changed drastically. We got a lot of guys that, either played at that level and they want opportunities to be able to show that they can match at that spot. And so they're in-state. Half our rosters from the Carolinas, right? And so these are guys that they went to high school with. They've been able to play against. And so get a chance to be able to play with them again and put their skill set on test. That's why you play the game. Those are fun games. Those are recruiting tools for us. You get to go to those places. You get the opportunity to put yourself against the best. We got guys that want to play at the next level. Man, you're going to get great opportunity to show how you match up in that spot. And our guys welcome that challenge. And that's fun. It's fun for us as coaches to be able to schematically, how can you be able to compete? And then our players, how can they physically go compete?
All right, Braxton, thanks so much for the time this morning. Good